Flight 19, the lost squadron of the Bermuda Triangle. Intro. Imagine the vast, seemingly endless expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Now picture not one, but 5 state-of-the-art military aircraft, flown by highly trained aviators on a routine training mission. Suddenly, their communications turn to confusion, then desperate pleas, then chilling silence. And as a massive rescue plane is dispatched to find them, it too vanishes without a trace. This isn't a work of fiction. This is the enduring, horrifying enigma of Flight 19, the lost squadron that vanished into the heart of the notorious Bermuda Triangle on December 5, 1945. What force could claim so many skilled men in powerful machines? Was it a simple accident magnified by circumstance, or something far more sinister, a cosmic war in the ocean depths? Join AdventureHidden as we descend into the facts, the frantic communications, and the perplexing theories surrounding one of history's most compelling and chilling aerial disappearances. Chapter 1. The Doomed Training Mission, December 5, 1945. The stage for this infamous mystery was set on a seemingly ordinary afternoon. The squadron, Flight 19, consisted of 5 PBM Avenger torpedo bombers. These were robust single-engine aircraft, known for their durability and long-range, workhorses of the U.S. Navy during World War II. Piloting them were 14 men, 13 experienced trainees, nearly ready for combat missions, and their highly experienced instructor, Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor. Taylor was a combat veteran, though newly assigned to instructor duties. The mission. It was a routine navigation problem training flight, designated FX-29. The plan was straightforward: depart from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Fly east for 56 miles to an area called Hen and Chicken Shoals for a practice bombing run, then turn north for 73 miles, then make a final turn west for 120 miles back to base. The entire flight was expected to last about 3 hours. Ideal conditions initially. The weather over South Florida and the nearby Bahamas was initially clear, calm, and ideal for flying. The pilots were all well-trained, and the area was considered familiar territory for navigation exercises. There was no indication of the nightmare that was about to unfold. The stage was set for a textbook flight, not an enduring enigma. Chapter 2. The Eerie Communications, Confusion and Distress. The first signs of trouble began about an hour and a half into the flight, around 2:14 p.m. What followed was a series of increasingly fragmented and desperate radio transmissions that baffled ground control and sent shivers down the spines of those listening. First sign of trouble. NAS Fort Lauderdale Tower overheard Lieutenant Taylor's voice on the radio, sounding concerned. He reported his compasses were malfunctioning, both his main magnetic compass and his gyro compass. "Both of my compasses are out," he stated, "and I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale." Crucially, he also added, "I'm sure I'm over the Keys." Escalating confusion. This last statement was critical. If Taylor believed he was over the Florida Keys southwest of Fort Lauderdale, his subsequent navigation would be entirely wrong. He was, in fact, likely far to the east, over the Bahamas. Attempts by ground control and another instructor, Lieutenant Robert F. Cox, call sign Powers 27, to guide him back to Florida were met with frustration. Taylor seemed convinced he was flying over land that wasn't there, or flying in the wrong direction over water. Other pilots in Flight 19 also reported their compasses were malfunctioning, or that their flight leader Taylor seemed disoriented. Ground control attempts and Taylor's internal conflict. Ground control repeatedly urged Taylor to turn west, telling him he was likely over the Atlantic. Taylor, however, kept insisting he was over the Gulf of Mexico west of Florida and trying to reach land to the north or east. His internal map was utterly inverted. The distress in his voice and the increasing confusion among his squadron mates became palpable. Final garbled transmissions. As daylight faded and fuel ran low, the transmissions became weaker, garbled, and increasingly desperate. Phrases like "white water," "everything is going wrong," and "we're going into the ocean" were heard. The last intelligible transmission from Flight 19 was around 7:04 p.m., indicating they were likely ditching in the rough seas of the approaching night. Then, silence. Chapter 3. The Vanishing of the Rescue Plane, PBM Mariner. As the fate of Flight 19 became clear, a massive search and rescue operation was immediately launched. However, the tragedy was about to repeat itself. The search begins. Multiple aircraft and surface vessels were dispatched into the last known vicinity of Flight 19, the Mariner's mission. Among the rescue planes were 2 large PBM Mariner flying boats. These were twin-engine long-range aircraft designed for maritime patrol and rescue. They had a formidable range but also a dangerous nickname: flying gas tanks, due to a design flaw that sometimes caused fuel vapor to accumulate, making them susceptible to explosions. The second disappearance. At 7:27 p.m., one of the Mariner's Modocs 49, carrying a crew of 13, transmitted that it was approaching Flight 19's last suspected position. Just minutes later at 7:50 p.m., the U.S. tanker SS Gaines Mills, located about 20 miles east of the Mariner's last known position, reported a massive explosion in the sky, followed by a column of fire that burned for 10 minutes. Witness accounts and theory. The official Navy investigation concluded that the Mariner had almost certainly exploded in midair. Debris was sighted by the Gaines Mills, but due to severe weather and the immediate aftermath, no wreckage or bodies were ever recovered. While tragic, the Mariner's disappearance is generally considered to be a separate incident with a likely, though unproven, cause, a catastrophic midair explosion due to its known design flaw. The true, baffling mystery remained with Flight 19. Chapter 4. The Official Inquiry and Early Theories. The disappearance of Flight 19 and the Mariner sparked an immediate and extensive Navy inquiry, attempting to piece together the events of that fateful day. Navy investigation. The official Navy Board of Inquiry conducted a thorough investigation, interviewing dozens of witnesses and analyzing all radio transmissions. Their ultimate conclusion regarding Flight 19 was that Lieutenant Taylor became disoriented due to compass malfunction and pilot error, leading the squadron progressively off course until they ran out of fuel and ditched at sea. The report initially attributed the primary blame to Taylor, but later softened this, acknowledging the confusing circumstances. The flying gas tank Mariner. The inquiry accepted the Gaines Mills report, concluding that the PBM Mariner likely suffered a mid-air explosion, possibly due to a fuel vapor ignition. This explanation, while grim, provided a plausible cause for its loss, separating it from the greater enigma of Flight 19. The true enigma, while pilot error was cited. The report struggled to fully explain why such an experienced instructor would have become so completely disoriented, why both compasses would fail simultaneously across multiple aircraft, though only Taylor reported his own, and why the entire squadron blindly followed him into the abyss. The report also failed to pinpoint the exact ditching location, leaving the mystery alive. The lack of wreckage further complicated any definitive explanation. Chapter 5. The Bermuda Triangle and Paranormal Theories. The disappearance of Flight 19, coupled with other mysterious maritime and aerial vanishings in the same region, cemented the infamous legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The triangle's emergence. The term Bermuda Triangle or Devil's Triangle was popularized years after the Flight 19 incident, but this event became its most iconic case. The triangle is loosely defined as an area between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico, infamous for alleged disappearances of ships and aircraft. Exotic theories, lacking conventional explanations and fueled by the sensationalism of popular culture, numerous paranormal and fantastical theories emerged to explain Flight 19's fate and other disappearances in the triangle. UFOs, alien abduction, a perennially popular theory, suggesting extraterrestrial forces snatched the planes and their crews. Time warps portals. The idea that unexplained temporal distortions or gateways exist, transporting vessels and planes to other dimensions or times. Atlantis technology, residual energy or malfunctioning ancient technology from the lost city of Atlantis, supposedly lying beneath the triangle, causing interference. Sea monsters, giant, undiscovered creatures pulling ships and perhaps even low-flying aircraft into the depths. Electronic fog, the theory that a mysterious electronic fog can envelop vessels, causing instruments to malfunction and leading to disappearances. Sensationalism, vs. science. While these theories provided thrilling narratives for books and documentaries, they largely lacked any scientific basis. Skeptics point to selective reporting, exaggeration, and the vastness of the ocean making recovery difficult. However, the allure of the unknown kept these fantastical explanations alive and cemented the Bermuda Triangle as a place of dark fascination. Chapter 6. Plausible Explanations and Enduring Mystery despite the allure of the paranormal. Many researchers and scientists have proposed more grounded, albeit still unsettling, explanations for Flight 19's disappearance. The Gulf Stream's influence. The powerful Gulf Stream flows through the Bermuda Triangle area. Any aircraft that ditched would have been subjected to strong currents, rapidly carrying wreckage if any survived far from the presumed ditching site. This makes finding debris incredibly challenging over days or weeks. Magnetic anomalies. While some magnetic anomalies exist in the region, they are not unique or severe enough to cause complete and widespread compass failure in multiple aircraft simultaneously. It's possible L.T. Taylor's compass did fail, but his confusion was the primary issue, human error confusion. This remains a leading plausible explanation. L.T. Taylor, though experienced, had a history of getting disoriented on navigation flights. The stress of the situation, the onset of night, and possibly spatial disorientation vertigo could have severely impaired his judgment, causing him to insist on incorrect headings. The other pilots, being trainees, would have largely followed their instructor, even if they had doubts. Aircraft malfunction and weather deterioration. While unlikely all compasses failed, one malfunctioning compass on the lead plane, combined with the onset of darkness and potentially deteriorating weather conditions offshore, which can happen rapidly in the Atlantic, that could have created a perfect storm of disorientation and fuel depletion. Wreckage found. The vastness and depth of the Atlantic, combined with powerful currents, make finding wreckage incredibly difficult. Aircraft that ditch tend to break up on impact and sink quickly. Marine life and deep-sea currents can disperse debris rapidly. Despite extensive searches, the ocean is a vast graveyard. Outro on December 5, 1945. 5 Avenger bombers carrying 14 men, followed by a rescue Mariner with 13 more, vanished into the depths of the Atlantic. While the loss of the Mariner is largely attributed to a probable mid-air explosion, the fate of Flight 19 remains one of the most compelling and haunting aerial mysteries of all time. The allure of the Bermuda Triangle tempts us to look for extraordinary answers: aliens, time warps, ancient curses. Yet, the stark reality is that even the most advanced technology and skilled aviators can be lost to the vast indifference of the ocean, especially when compounded by confusion, communication breakdowns, and the unpredictable forces of nature. Disappearance of Flight 19 continues to fuel fascination, a chilling reminder of the unknown that